special family, welcome back to another video. This is the Reddit edition, AITA. So the topic for today is, am I the A for threatening to kick out my autistic daughter? I, Lisa, 36 female, have a daughter, Lillian, 18 female. Lillian is autistic and got diagnosed when she was around 16. I always assumed she was just shy and awkward. Throughout her childhood, especially since she didn't make any effort to talk to family, which is normal. I would make her say hello and she'd just walk away immediately afterwards to sit on her phone somewhere. She's a smart girl and she was called gifted by her elementary and middle schools. She has average grades now and seems like she's been left behind socially compared to her peers. Her grades turned into C's as soon as she entered high school, and I assumed it was because the workload her school was giving her was stressing her out. She always said she was doing homework. Turns out she was playing Roblox the entire time. Lillian preferred to spend her time playing Roblox, on average 14 hours of screen time per day. I tried taking her phone away so she'd do something productive, but she would end up doing nothing at all and just sleep through it. All of her Roblox friends are younger than her, usually ranging from age 12 to 15. I asked her why she didn't try making friends her own age at school, and she just shrugged. I told her she should at least try and make friends her age online, and she told me it was harder than it looked. I tried to explain that it was weird for younger kids to be friends with someone her age, and she looked at me and told me that there was nothing wrong with it, since she didn't have any of their social medias, just that she played with them so she'd have company. I still think that's weird. Now that she's entering her senior year of high school, I was telling her that she should delete all her games and focus on her future. She doesn't have a job and she can't drive. She got upset and told me she could focus on both things at once. I told her she could focus on them both if she left my house as soon as she graduated. What the hell? And she immediately ran off crying. Our family is calling me an A now, and they're all against me, even though none of them would help me. So I'm the A? My 18-year-old autistic daughter plays Roblox instead of focusing on her life, so I told her I will kick her out. Lady, you got a lot of issues, but I'll just start with the simple one. Once your daughter got diagnosed, what was your next step? Did you get self-informed? Did you go do some research on autism? Did you join some support groups to find out what her autism looks like? Her likes, her dislikes, things that comes with her diagnosis? Did you try to figure out, or maybe Google, or maybe YouTube, things that you might encounter because of her diagnosis, or things that she might encounter because of her diagnosis, that when they show up, you know which angle to handle it from? Just a question, but let's see what the commenters had to say. First commenter says, your daughter has autism, trouble socializing, even with people she knows, trouble with school, no job, no license, and your solution to that is to throw her out onto the streets? Is this some very sadistic attempt to kill your daughter? Yes, you are the A. I couldn't have said it better. Somebody else responded, Skyward Geek. Also, it's incredibly common for people with autism to have friends that are not around their own age. It can skew either older or younger. Autistic people, I am one, can struggle with social cues. So younger people who don't judge you as much for that can be really great friends. I used to tutor and I loved it because it was the only job I never had to mask and hide my autistic traits because the kids didn't care. Or it can go the opposite way. Older people who have seen all the various eccentricities of people over the years might not bat an eyelid to slightly old teenagers who can make small talk with adults easily, and is described as an old soul or wise beyond her years. That's because she might have learned her social skills from watching her parents, her family, and her teacher instead of those around her own age. You are the A massively. You have totally failed your daughter on so many levels and for so many years. Slayer Girl for Life says, I came to say this. Over and over she ignored warning signs and assumed Still seems like she doesn't accept the diagnosis. You're the A. I couldn't have said it better, Sammy Whammy says, or she's at the very least just using it as an excuse and not researching anything about it in an attempt to help her daughter. What was the point of getting the diagnosis in the first place if you're not going to help your daughter improve her life, OP? Applause, Sammy Whammy. Okay, this one says, you're the A. Forcing her into social situation isn't going to do her a bit of good. In fact, that will likely make her social skills regress. It is very clear from your post that you have not educated yourself on ASD at all. I would honestly urge you to do so. Roblox is very obviously a coping mechanism and a game she's actually been able to make friends on. They may not be her peers, however. The fact she's been able to make friends there and you want to take it away from her, again, that will cause more regression in certain areas, i.e. socially. Good point. Silver Sniper says, as someone who is also autistic and had my own similar issues, I completely agree with this, as well as what other people are saying. School was rough for me in so many different ways. Socially caused me the most issues. My coping mechanism for a good decade was Minecraft, and it was only then and there did I make friends, who I've had since. They're much closer to being my age, usually ranging from 1 year younger to a few years older, as well as casual acquaintances with the older players talk to strictly in game. All of my friends I talk to almost daily are from Minecraft, and so they're the reason why I was able to develop socially, and honestly in many other ways. So I don't know where I would be without them, as I was honestly a bit of social outcast at school and never talked to any of my peers except one outside of school. The grades failing could very well indicate other issues at school or a mental health decline. I am forever grateful for how much of an advocate my mom has been since my diagnosis and how much both my parents educate themselves and other family about autism. This person says, you are the A. Please take time to educate yourself on autism and coping mechanisms. Attempting to force her into uncomfortable social interactions won't help anything. Taking away her coping mechanism will only make things worse, and threatening to kick her out is awful. Okay, Smart Crazy says, you are the A on so many levels. As a mom of autistic children, I am disgusted by you. It's one thing that she got diagnosed quite late, but you have had 2 years to understand her condition, and you clearly haven't bothered in the slightest. Do you not understand autistic shutdown? Do you not understand sensory processing disorder? She's literally shutting herself down to be able to regulate. She cannot cope in school because it's too overwhelming for her. I bet she doesn't have a one-to-one or support teacher, no adopted timetable or quiet place to study. Her school will have loud noises, strong smells, bold lighting, high texture, and color on the walls. And on top of that, you expect her to focus when she's desperately trying to shut herself away. She is still bright. You're not giving her the correct environment to achieve in. But in 2 years, you haven't bothered to learn this. Your daughter is struggling. You have failed her massively. You're not even bothered to find a way to communicate with her. If she's hiding in Roblox, she's seeking regulation and a familiar safe space. She clearly doesn't feel safe with you. For your information, a neurodiverse child tends to be delayed emotionally by about 30% of their age. That's why she is more comfortable with younger children. She is more emotionally adapted to them, so she does not have to conform to the social pressures of meeting anyone in person. And did you ever consider that she might be lonely? Autistic people struggle with nonverbal and social cues. If I told my son to pull his socks up, he wouldn't understand that could mean me telling him to get a grip. He would start telling me why he doesn't wear socks, because they hurt his feet. Your daughter is 18 and you have never bothered to understand her and are forcing her to comply with your standard. She's probably very literal thinking, which young adults her age will find odd unless they have experience with autism or neurodiversity. She knows she doesn't fit in, she feels awkward, and she can't read the social cues. Your response to this, kick her out? The thing about parenting is the clue in the title. Start acting like a parent and stop trying to enforce a neurotypical routine on a neurodiverse lady. Oh, and well done for now, adding the fear of potential homelessness on someone who will now be highly introverted and anxious with worry. She cannot cope with school. How on earth do you think she could cope with a new living arrangement where she would be expected to function as a fully formed adult with no preparation, income, or support? You are the A over and over.